Well, it's happened again. That inevitable situation that always happens to hit every side-by-side owner, especially ones like myself that do their own maintenance. The dreaded oil change. Now, changing the oil on a Pioneer 500 is not an overly complicated thing. It's not hard to do, but it is time consuming. The first thing you have to do is take off the seat, which it just pulls up and releases. That's fairly easy. But now, to get at where the oil filter goes, you have to take off this whole one panel. It's a little bit of an involved process. Again, not hard, just a little bit time consuming. So now that you can see in here, you can see we have a series of clips and a couple screws here that we have to take off in order to get to where we can get in to change the oil filter. And one thing that's probably unnecessarily but helps is to go ahead and take your net loose. That way it's just out of the way and not always batting you in the head or anything. And I will take the back off too, just to make it a little bit easier. Then the next thing that'll help make this a little easier is to take this little splash guard here. Now just grab a corner and gently pry up, and it'll pop right off and out of the way. And set it gently aside. Now, just in case you don't know how these kind of push pins work, basically all you got to do is, if you see there's a little indentation right there, just take a flat screwdriver and you stick it in that and gently pry up, and what you'll see is that pops the center up. And you can usually just pull it right out from that. Now sometimes you'll get one where you'll pop the center out like that and that still stays in there, but then you can just get the screwdriver underneath it, baby, and then it just will come up then too. And there's also one kind of hidden way back in here by the seatbelt. Don't forget that guy. You'll pull and wonder why in the world it's not coming free. Three of these here on this side panel that goes into this top as well need removed. And then two Phillips heads, which if you can't figure out how those work, then you probably shouldn't be doing your own oil changes. Whoops, I missed it, Phillips. Take your PCM free. Ooh, that's dusty and dirty. Now there is a slot right here that will allow that to fit through it so you can remove the panel. So even though Honda does make this a little complicated, they do make a way for it to be done fairly easy. Lift that up, work the seat belt out of the slot there. Again. And now we can get into where we have our oil filter. Oh, welcome to the underside of a Pioneer 500. So, one thing we got to do once we're under here is locate where the drain plug is. Now, when you're looking underneath the Pioneer, you have your series of skid plates. Now, right where my hand is, you probably can't see, there's like three slotted, large rectangular slotted cooling fins, basically, is what they are. Now, the drain plug, you have these 1, 2, 3 here. The oil drain plug is in the next hole right here, and it's really the only bolt that's right there exposed. It's easy enough to find. And it is a 17mm bolt. Black Gold! Texas T. So at 600 miles, the oil is not real awful as you can see, but it's definitely darkened quite a bit, so it's definitely ready for a change. Easy as can be. Alright, now it's time to remove the oil filter cover itself, which it has just 3 little 8mm bolts, which if you have a small little socket like this is perfect for getting in here. Now you want to be careful here, because I do believe, if I remember correctly, there's a little spring behind this cover that holds the filter up tight. So as you take this off, make sure you don't lose that spring, but that may just be for the 1000s. Okay, the 500 just has the little rubber gasket here that fits into, so no spring. So we have our new filter here for the part number. Let me zoom in on that. Now these filters are directional, meaning they need to go in a certain way. But if you look, you see how this says outside, towards filter cover. And the other side says this side, and oh, there is a spring, and spring towards engine. So I think the spring, see, I thought there was a spring, and it's still in there, and it's still in place. So make sure you don't lose that. There's a little spring on the other side. It's in the back side. So you want to make sure not to lose. So I will stick this over that. Slide her in place. And you'll be able to tell if the spring is lined up right, because it'll push back at you. Make sure I got all my holes lined up before I tighten any of my bolts. I'll go ahead and start them all. Alright, so we got the engine oil filter cover, that's a mouthful, back on our guy. Bolts, make sure they are torqued to 9 foot-pounds. And I don't think I mentioned this, but the drain plug is 18 foot-pounds. So now she's all buttoned back up, it's ready to put some oil in. Now these little 500s only take 3.2 quarts of oil, so at least that doesn't break the bank in order to change the oil in these things. So through advanced technology yet to be seen, I have my oil. I use the GN4 stuff from Honda, the 10W30. So let's go ahead and fill her up. Now normally before every ride when I check the oil, instead of taking the seat off and doing what it tells you to do in the book, I do a cheat. You can, if you're an able-bodied person, get back right in here and reach in to do quick oil checks, you know, just to check your level. However, since we're filling, you don't really have a lot of room in there. And since we already have the seat off, then, well, we'll go ahead and do what Honda tells you for checking the oil to fill the oil. And see here, once you have the seat off, there's just this little thin dust, heat shield, whatever it is, that just comes right off. And then you can get right in there, grab a funnel, we'll fill her up. Alright, so finally now the last step we have to do is to reset our maintenance meter on our Pioneer. Now if you notice, whenever you're due for maintenance and an oil change, you see you get the little wrench up there to let you know that it's time. So in order to reset that, you have to have the key off, and you want to push the little button here, push and hold it, and as you push and hold it, turn the key on. Whoops. It'll flash, it'll reset, and then you're good to go. Now you don't actually have to start the machine for it to reset, just turn the key on. But I was using one hand stretched out like this, so I just accidentally turned it on. But anyway, moving on. So there you have it, how to change the oil in a Pioneer 500. So all jokes about how a Phillips head screw works aside, This really is something that the average Jane or Joe can do in their driveway in about 15 minutes and save a lot of money too, not taking it to a dealer or an ATV repair shop. So I hope watching this video inspires you, gives you confidence to tackle this on your own, and I hope to see you on my next video. So till next time, keep on riding.